The new Mercedes-Benz GLC 300. It's a powerful car with a commanding road presence, but how is it improved over the previous best-selling SUV for Mercedes in India? It's bigger, it's better, it's tech-loaded, and there's a lot that we want to tell you on this special segment on Tech Today. Well, there's so much to say about this particular GLC. Yes, it is a little wider and longer, much more roomy on the inside, but a quick walkthrough over here as well. You see how the logo is placed? It looks lovely. The grille gives it a very commanding presence, but at the end of the day, it's a GLC. So it's an elevated SUV experience of the Mercedes-Benz C-Class. But Mercedes really seems to be getting its tech on point, not just with its EVs, also with this particular vehicle. By the way, when you switch it on, it's tough to tell whether this is an EV or not because it's almost entirely silent. It does come with a new technology, ISG, which makes it mildly hybrid. I'll tell you more about that inside. But these 19-inch alloys are genuinely something that make this feel a lot more like an SUV. Since we're talking about practicality, this is the GLC, the hottest selling SUV for the Mercedes-Benz group here in India and in many other places. What is the boot space like? Plenty of space, but then if this is going to be just something that you're driving with your significant other, then there is, well, an option right here. Flick this button and the seats fold. The front seat's also moving a little ahead. And now this is more than 1,000 liters of boot space. I can fit my entire Mumbai house in this particular car. There's a lot of space. But the real magic with the GLC happens in the front with all the tech, and that's where we're headed to next. The minute you get into the driver's seat, honestly, it is a very commanding seat position. Is it comfortable? I think it gets the job done. But then you're greeted with a whole lot of tech, which I think is an upgrade from the previous GLC. Now, for a car at this particular price point, you are greeted by this 12.3-inch LCD display. There's a digital cluster right here, which I'll tell you about. It gets everything done just like the C-Class. And honestly, it's a very consistent experience right up till the top of the lineup with Mercedes. If you're driving the EQS, it feels very similar in terms of the tech on display, and that's a testament to what they're trying to do with this entire interface. Especially when you're on the highways, there's active lane keep assist, and then there's blind spot assist. So when you're taking a turn using the indicator, well, it'll tell you if there's someone trying to overtake you or someone coming too close to you. And this one is very, very helpful because if there are vehicles that are already approaching you, it will warn you. But it's active brake assist right here up top, which is the first feature in any of these new Mercedes cars, which we go and click on and switch it off. Now, it's a great feature, but especially in congested cities like Mumbai, you're always going to have someone or an obstacle in your path. Now, if you can get used to the sensation of coming to a grinding halt, it's okay. But the first thing otherwise that you do is come in right here in collision avoidance. And at least what I personally do is switch it off and be a lot more mindful once your seatbelt is on and you're on the road. Right now, we're parked on the side, just mind you. But when your seatbelt is on, switch this off, because honestly, this can be, well, quite difficult in terms of implementation here on Indian roads. So that's all the assistance features. If you go into a vehicle, then you can do a bunch of things with manual shifting. You can also get into car wash mode. The lights, and I love the lights in this one. The ambient lighting job is absolutely immaculate. If you want to edit it, and just check out how it works. In the night, you'll understand it even better. But even now, in the daylight, you can see how the entire ambient lighting in the car has changed. I can go from, well, Venice pink to ultramarine to, well, maybe a red moon as well. I can tell you one thing for sure, that the brand has paid attention to the details, because nuance-wise, if you check out what's happening up over here, if you increase the AC temperature, you'll see that it is getting warmer in terms of a color. So it gets a little orange when I go up to 21 degrees. I'm coming down now and cooling it down to 19. And you're going from blue to purple, and then it matches the ambient lighting. Oh, there you go. Apple CarPlay wirelessly connected. It's the same with Android Auto, but I must say this. I've never faced this issue with a Mercedes car. We've faced this before. But Apple CarPlay, even with the latest software installed over here, sometimes gets disconnected. Well, it's the era of technology, and that's why from this screen we're going to move to all the tech on this particular screen. Now you have your cruise control on the steering here, and you can access a lot of these functions on this 12-inch cluster as well. If you want to, well, change the look and feel, you can go into understated, for example, and everything changes. But this is a little too plain even for me. Sport mode is there. You want the navigation mode, and right here on the navigation mode, you could actually not be distracted whatsoever. Just look right here and you know where you're going to and what your next turn will be. But I think that's with MBUX. Only with the Mercedes system, you have the off-road and the service modes. And one more thing in terms of tech that I love about this particular vehicle is this off-road feature. Now that reminds you, of course, with all the insulation and all the tech, that this is still a GLC. It's a Mercedes SUV, and you can take it out for a nice road trip, and I'll tell you exactly how. Of course, you can use this downhill speed regulation feature, which then sets the speed of the car when you're going downhill to a particular speed which is safer. You don't have to worry so much about braking or what's going to happen next. That's really cool. You have all sorts of features here with tire pressure. You have tire temperature as well, which direction you're going, at what height. And this is the best feature that I have seen on the Mercedes GLC, which is what they call transparent bonnet. I'll tell you how transparent bonnet works. The minute you press this button on the off-road mode, you hear a sudden click. That's the side and the front cameras of this particular vehicle being activated. So the real proof is in the pudding. All that tech and camera work all culminates in this output for transparent bonnet. Put the car in drive and you see what is beneath your car at this point, which is absolutely mind-boggling. You can see my wheels turning there, and it's telling me what is beneath. Yes, this car looks really nice, but the proof is in the pudding. Let's put it in drive and actually see what the ride quality is like, because it does have a very roomy cabin, but what's it like to drive? What if you want to go out on a long road trip? Now here on Mumbai roads, the minute you sit in this car, it's very reassuring, one, to know you have 7 airbags in the car. Everything is at the touch of a button. Very intuitive display. The placement of the screen really makes things a lot easier. Well, in terms of the drive, it is a bit firm in terms of the suspension. All right, let's actually test the car in terms of its turn radius. Now I've turned. It's effortless. Honestly, it's quite long, but it's effortless in terms of turning. There are several driving modes, comfort mode being one. When you try to accelerate and you want to perhaps overtake someone, it builds like it's heading towards a crescendo, very slow and gradual, and then suddenly there's a little burst of energy. I don't know if that's the ISG, the mildly hybrid bit coming in as well, but it's a whole different story when you put the car in sport mode. You put the car in sport mode, and boy, oh boy, the cabin is insulated, so you don't really feel it. You can hear a minimal grunt, but people outside didn't need a horn to move on the side. It's that commanding, it's that, well, aggressive in terms of its approach. So sport mode is a whole different story. Now, in terms of ride quality, I won't lie. Like I said earlier, you will feel some of the bumps and breakers, but the way the car handles them is quite comfortable. It's not completely insulated like the sound insulation. You do feel a little bit of the road, but it is an SUV. So come on, buck up and enjoy the drive. Ever wondered what a conversation between the old GLC and this GLC would sound like? The old GLC would say, I am the best-selling SUV for Mercedes, I have ventilated seats and massage features. But the new GLC would actually contend that by telling you that I am bigger, I am better, sportier, and hello to 2023, because I am tech-loaded to another level with that infotainment system and, of course, a luxury cabin inside with off-roading capabilities, which we are very impressed with. Because again, with those off-roading capabilities, you also have a lot of tech which is making it all happen. I've always wondered what the C in GLC really stood for. Yes, I know this is a C-class in the SUV segment, or a rendition of it, but the C stands for comfort. Is that true? It could also stand for very classy. But I have a new take on this because this is a new GLC in 2023. I think it stands for clever use of technology when it's saying hello to 2023. Think about it. All of us tech geeks have assembled to really build up to the big tech phenomenon, which happens to be the Apple event that highlights the month of Techtember. So many launches in the world of tech, and more importantly, so many launches in the world of auto and EVs as well. But the Apple event stands out as that one event which sets the bar really high. This year, of course, we're expecting a new iPhone, Apple Watches, and maybe that one more thing moment. So we've really gathered all the rumors and put them all together from reliable sources and what we gather as well. And we're going to tell you what to expect from the Apple event. Along with that, we also want to find out what you are going to do after the Apple event, coming straight to you, the Tech Today community in New Delhi.
Just like every year, Apple is expected to host a launch event where we will see the much-awaited iPhone 15 series. For those who are confused if they should buy the iPhone 14 models or wait for the new generation, well, we have news for you. The iPhone 15 series is expected to come with a bunch of new surprises. As per Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, the biggest change that we can expect from the standard iPhone 15 models is that they will be ditching their long-standing display notch feature for dynamic island design. For those who don't know about it as yet, dynamic island design is a much debated feature that was introduced on iPhone 14 Pro models just last year. The iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus models might come with camera improvements, including updated lenses. The Pro models are expected to come with slimmer bezels and upgraded camera with new lenses. These models might even get a power boost with an upgraded 3nm chip, which is rumored to be manufactured by Taiwan's Semiconductor Manufacturing Co. So after a big push from European Union to create a common standard for charging smartphones, by the end of 2024, Apple is now compelled to jump on the bandwagon and introduce the Type-C port in their upcoming iPhone models. The tech giant is expected to finally do away with its proprietary Lightning port. This time around, iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus are likely to feature the new charging port. Another major change that we can expect this time is that the Pro models will come with titanium edges instead of stainless steel, which is likely to make them a tad bit lighter. Since iPhones have always been expensive, the upcoming iPhone 15 lineup will be no different. Apple is expected to bump up prices of the high-end iPhone models. iPhone 15 Pro is expected to get at least $100 more expensive, while the iPhone 15 Pro Max is expected to cost at least $200 more than their previous versions. Now, the good thing here is iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus might not witness a price hike. Apart from the iPhones, Apple is also expected to launch Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 at the launch event in September. While no major changes are expected from the Apple Watches this year, the Watch Series 9 models will see minor battery and performance upgrade. Apple is also expected to introduce a new pink color option for the upcoming Watch series. We've already seen this color variant in the latest iPad Air, iPad Mini, iPad and iMac models. The company is also expected to launch the second generation Watch Ultra 2 this year. This time around, the smartwatch is likely to be lighter than its previous hefty version. It is also expected to be available in dark titanium color option and a bigger display. Now, it's important to remember that all that we've rounded up for you here on Tech Today is all based on some rumors that's doing the rounds on the internet about the Apple event and what the company really plans to launch. But to get your precise information, you'll have to stay tuned to Tech Today to find out what really happens come September.
Apple is about to host its biggest launch event of the year. It will launch iPhone 15 and many more gadgets. Let's hear it from the Tech Today community, what they think about Apple and what they expect from this launch event. Let's go. Are you an Android user or iPhone?
I'm an Android user.
I'm an iPhone user.
I'm using both.
I use Android.
I use iPhone 12. I used to be an Android user, but now I have my Apple.
I use both, so certainly I like Apple most. So as it has more security features compared to Android, and it just goes smooth.
You use Apple or Android?
Currently, I'm using Android phone, but definitely I'm planning to move to Apple.
Actually, I had a iPhone previously as well, and I switched it back to the Android because I found iPhone a little bit boring, you can say, because of their restrictions, and there's nothing much you can do with iPhone.
I'm using iPhone at my office, Android at my home. So security feature is, I will definitely say it is good in compared to Android phones. It's not easily breakable. You can break the security feature of Android phone. It's not that difficult, but can be broken, right? So that's all thing. Apart from that, iPhone is way more expensive, providing the same features which Android is providing.
If Apple plans to launch a foldable phone, will you buy it?
Yeah, for sure.
You like foldable phone?
Yeah, I just bought Flip 5.
Foldable. Maybe you might have money, then you can buy it. But what I will say, I will not waste my money in folding phones.
If Apple launches an foldable phone, it's going to be exciting, and yes, people are going to buy it, and maybe I can buy it.
Foldable phone, yeah, I would love to buy it. I was going to buy Samsung, but I did not buy because it was an Android and I wanted to switch to iPhone, so that is the reason.
Definitely. That would even be a very good part if they would definitely do it. But yes, they have to keep the points that should be in mind. If you compare it with the Android ones, we came to know that there is a line that happens. So these things should be kept in mind. Are you excited about iPhone 15 launch next month?
Yes, I am, but I don't think I'll be buying it because I already have 13 Pro Max and it cost me a huge amount. So I want to continue it for like 4 or 5 years.
I like Apple Watch, and which is in my bucket list, and I'm going to buy that soon.
The one product which I have been interested in that is the Apple Watch. So if they can put some extra features or anything something new, then the last one or of course price also matters. So I can go for the watch.
iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I look forward to it, and I think I'll buy it.
The reason why I'm actually excited about 15 is I was reading about it yesterday and I came to know that there will be a seaport now. So this is what Tech Today community thinks about the Apple event. Over to you, Aayush.
It's that time of the show again where you, the Tech Today community, get all your tech queries answered. So we're doing this a little differently this time. We want to come to you and then we shall answer the questions right here from Tech Today HQ. So let's get to the streets of New Delhi while the Tech Today team is out scouring the streets for all your questions.
I have a question for you, Aayush. Which is the best smartwatch to buy for fitness and health reasons?
Well, that's an interesting question. In terms of buying a smartwatch, you've asked for a health and a fitness companion. If you're talking about health features, then there is one answer. If you're talking purely about fitness features, then there's a separate answer altogether. And if you want both of them in one particular smartwatch, then we have an answer for you as well. Now, this is our Tech Today take. When we've reviewed a bunch of these smartwatches and trackers, if you want to buy a health and fitness companion, which is an extension of an ecosystem, then there's just two options. Option number one is the Apple Watch. It could be the Apple Watch, the new one coming, the Series 9 or the Ultra or any of the Apple Watches which have ECG and of course blood oxygen monitoring as well. Now that is one option. And the second ecosystem extension, which is a holistic companion, happens to be
the Samsung Galaxy Watch. Now, the new ones that we showed you in Korea are quite good in terms of build quality. They're comparable to what Apple is doing with their watches. But in India, there's a difference. The Apple watches can take an ECG recording, have all sorts of heart rate monitoring features as well. Now, the Samsung watch has a bunch of features, but the ECG monitoring is still not activated here in India. So if that's something you're considering, well, then the Apple Watch is the right companion. Now, I must add, if you're looking at this purely from a fitness perspective, and you're not so worried about all the other features being part of an ecosystem, then Garmin watches have proven to be the most accurate smartwatches and trackers we've had on the show. Often exactly the same readings as your Apple Watch and a lot more detailed analysis in the app as well. Now, it's not part of an ecosystem, but if you're a runner, maybe a marathon runner, or you're into some sort of contact sport, the Garmin watches do a very good job as well.
So Ayush, I had a question whether I should go for Kia EV6 or Hyundai Ioniq. Which one do you recommend?
The age-old battle between the EV siblings, the EV6 and the Ioniq 5. Now, both cars are based on the same platform from the Hyundai group. Where do the differences come in? First of all, in a price-conscious market like India, you save nearly 15 lakh rupees if you purchase the Ioniq over the EV6. In terms of form factor, they look a little different. One is more of a compact crossover, the other one's a little bigger, a little sportier. But performance-wise, they're exactly the same. In fact, even inside, largely the same tech. 0 to 100 in what, 5 or 5.2 seconds. It is a matter of preference in terms of what you like. The battery pack on the EV6 is the updated one, so you can get a little bit more range, actually quite a bit more range. But then you're paying 15 lakh rupees more for that sort of improvement. Performance-wise, otherwise, they're the same. If you're going down to looks, and from our testing and what we think here at Tech Today, I think the Ioniq 5 is a much better package. I genuinely think it looks like a tank on the road, very futuristic. The EV6 looks sporty, but maybe it's not our cup of tea. I think the Ioniq 5 is a value for money proposition between both those EVs. Well, keep those questions coming. We love answering all your tech queries here on Tech Today. And honestly, I can understand some of them, justified, because Techtember is nearly here. You've seen what's coming up at the Apple event and so many EV launches. And honestly, all these auto companies seem to be heading the EV way. So what I'm going to do is take this for a quick spin and maybe then get the next EV on the show. And I'm going to see you very soon. Until next week, adios.